Everybody, my name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at BTC, continuing on from our video yesterday. So basically, if I just come down here into the smaller time frames, on the 1 hour, what we were looking for is the potential that we had a 5-wave move completed into these highs, and we're looking for evidence that we're still within a B wave to the downside here, or a 3-wave move to the downside. So we can argue that we could have already started this move, and that we are currently setting up for this C wave move to the downside. If basically what we're looking for is an additional 5-wave move down here, and it hasn't really started to materialize yet, but what we could be looking at is if this high point here at 1727 holds, what we could be looking at is the potential that we could start to see a move down, like this was a 1, a 2, a 3 into these lows of 16981 to confirm that's a typical third wave travel area, a move back up, and then a push to the downside again. So basically what we'd be looking for here is, if I measure this out now, because I've already put it on the points that it needs to be on, basically we could see, should this structure develop to the downside, we could see a move to the downside here between the 16959 and the 16927. So basically what this would then be is just an additional 5-wave move down into these lows. Should we move back above this 17227 area, it's possible that this B wave is not completed. And what we'd be looking for then is potential for a move back to the upside here. If we just put this on here, we can see we've come up and hit this 50% range, and we got rejected from it. And basically what we'd be looking for is potentially to test some of these other ranges up here, maybe 786, 702, 618 areas, which have these numbers which you can see here. So basically what we'd be looking for is, if this is not a completed B wave, what we could have here is this as an A wave up to this point. We could look to form a B wave low and then push up again in a C wave. So if we have a look at this move so far, if we go off to this low point here, a 1-to-1 off of this zone would take us up to this 17252. But that being said, we could also still be within this B wave if we look to progress down, but not quite as low as this move is suggesting here. So with this, basically what we'd be looking for then is the potential that within this B wave here, that we have this as an A, a B, and a C. So the 1-to-1 for this would bring us potentially down to this 17,064 area. So we could look to make a double bottom here potentially, and then look for a push back to the upside again, still all being within this B wave. Though we would have to be mindful, if we do move back up against past this 17,360 area, then what we would have to do is consider that this is a completed move here, and then we're starting some additional upside here. Taking this higher would invalidate coming down into these 17,000 areas, basically. So ideally what we'd want to see here is this move to develop to the downside here, take down to this 16981 area, hit this impulsive trigger, have a 4th wave, and then drop down into these lower ranges here. So if I just mark these up quickly again, so just for reference, so that could bring us down into this low point of sort of just under that 17,000 region, 17 to 60 or 69 area. So if that is the place is to take place, then we could look potentially at this whole move as completed. So if I just remove this out of here to get rid of some of the noise, so then we could look at this ABC as completed. From there, it's important to see what happens. Basically, if we start to develop a bigger 5-wave move to the upside, this would then tie in with our other option we were having a look at yesterday. And what this would be is, if I just come in here quickly and I turn on this bullish breakout potential, what this is that we could have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're looking for a retracement into these zones to form this wave 2. It is possible that this wave 2 could just retest this trend line and not go all the way down to this 1-to-1, Based off of the structure within this, ideally we would want it to come down low into this zone. And you can see here, if I just delete these other numbers here, this 16,935 would be a 618 retracement of this move here. So this is still tracking for the potential of having a 5-wave move up to the upside here, shown in this green wave 5-wave formation. And what that would be looking at is to target up into these areas of between 18.4 and 18.200 basically. We'd be looking to target out these zones here. We would have to be mindful, should we start to get some 5-wave move developing to the upside, crossing this 19,155 would trigger a bigger impulsive move to the upside, which could look to target up towards this 19,900 area to this 19,447 area, 471 area rather. So that being said, should we develop this, we'd have an additional fourth and a fifth, but I've not plotted these on yet, as until we get a confirmation for this first 5-wave move, it's not really worth us worrying about it, because we'll have the time to plot that in after that point. If we can see that we're going to start hitting these impulsive triggers to the upside here, then potentially we could be looking at a bigger move to the upside, as we've shown here. This would take us into this potential rejection zone here, and then we could be looking for a move to break down from this point, basically looking for the lower lows that we were talking about in the previous video. If this is the case, then we would break down from this point, though we would have to be mindful of potential support zones once this move starts to develop. It's not really worth me talking too much about it, but basically what we would be looking for is, if we did have the additional fourth and fifth wave here, it might take us more towards the top of this range. And what we would be looking for, if that had to play out, would be the potential that we could see a retracement down towards this 17,229 area, or to the sort of 17,810. That's a typical area we could look to find support, and then that would be looking for progression to the upside. Though with that said, we have to bear in mind there are other options here, and if we have a look at these now, if I quickly just switch this over, we turn that bullish breakout over, the ABC option is pretty much, it's much the same as that as the bigger move, but what we'd be looking at here is that we have an A wave into this high here, and then we are looking at a B wave retracement. Whether this is done or not, we would have to just wait and see. If we fail to hold this 16,678 area, what we could be looking at is we would have to then look at this whole move as an A, a B, and we'd be looking for that C wave low. Should this break down below the 16,678 area, basically what we'd be looking for is to find support in this green support zone here. This could be between the 16,470 and 417, all the way down to this 15,864 as a typical support zone. Breaking this low here at 15,995 would invalidate the potential for having any other bigger impulsive structure off these first 5-wave moves here. So we would have to just bear that in mind. If this low is set here and it's going to hold at 16,678, there is potential that we could be looking for a 5-wave move, which at a 1-to-1 of this first A wave would take us towards this 18,780 area. So that's what we're looking for. The important thing is to see whether these lows hold. If we fail to hold them, whether we find support above this. If we lose this 15,476 area, then it would be safe to say that we either have some kind of an expanding flat from this zone here, or we could be completed and we're looking to break down in another 5-wave move, another bigger 5-wave move. So basically that's what we're looking at with that. If we switch over to the diagonal, this is a bit more skeptical, and it's a bit, basically what we could be looking at here is the potential that we have a diagonal move within this, and we have this as a 1, 2, 3 up into this high, 4, and a 5. Once again, this would also be looking to move down into the support zone here, and the difference with this potential is then either this would be a wave or a wave 1. So if it's an A wave, we'd look for a drop down into these zones, potentially targeting out the B wave low and then looking to push up towards this rejection box to the upside here again. So there's a few things that we need to sort of wait and see how the market reacts. Let the market tell the story. We can try and guess it, but best thing we can do is have a roadmap and then see how it reacts around the price points that we are watching. So now this option here that I've got, it's a bit more speculative once again, but it's something worth keeping an eye on. So we could argue that we have a triangle, a bigger triangle that's forming in here. The problem with this move so far is if we take this as the C wave high, we've had a zigzag to the downside and then we've had this 5 wave move to the upside. Should this move roll over and it actually ends up just being a corrective structure that just looks like a 5 wave move, which can happen sometimes, basically then what we would be looking for is the potential that maybe we could be looking to move back down towards this trend line area here and to form this D wave low. This should happen in a zigzag, but looking at the move so far, we can argue that this D wave, because this C wave is quite simple, this D wave could potentially become more complex and then maybe be looking to form uh, some variant of the zigzag family pattern to the downside. And what that means is it would be like a complex correction with this being a zigzag, a B wave, another zigzag, and then forming the B wave. Basically, all within this A wave would become very complex. We'd get a B wave bounce, and then we'd look for C wave to the downside. So there's no this line here can move. There's nothing set in stone. Sometimes they have a 0.618 relationship between the wave before it, and if that was the case, it would be looking to target out towards this 15,800 area if we were to be forming a D wave in this triangle. If this did play out, then we could still potentially look for this zigzag to the upside for the E wave. If that does play out, then we'd look for progression to the downside from there. So at the moment, it's all sort of eyes on this support zone here of 16,678. Should we lose that, we're going to be looking to the support zone here, and basically from there we would have to just monitor the moves and see if we can still look for any bullish potential to the upside. Though losing the low, like I said, of this 15,476 makes us have to start looking at lower targets, and we've already covered those in the last video, so there's no point in me going over them again. But basically what we'd be looking for is those lows to come in. So keep an eye on these levels, see how we react around here. Breaking back above this zone would indicate we're already starting this move to the upside. Failing to break back above here and breaking through this zone would indicate we have a deeper retracement. Basically, if we manage to hold in the support zone that we had here at, if I just quickly switch this back on so I can get the exact numbers, at the 17,013 area to the 16,818, we could be looking for potential of having an additional move to the upside here in this impulsive wave here. Though, like I said, only crossing this 18,040 would give us confirmation of that. So those are the things that I'm looking out for, and I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, smash that like button, and leave us some feedback in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to show your support, come down to the Discord and have a chat with us. And in the description, you'll also find a affiliate link to BYBIT. This is one of the best exchanges in our opinion, whether you want to leverage trade or just spot trade. It really is great. So why not give it a look? Okay, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope it really helps you out. I will see you in the next video. Until we see each other again, take care out there.